we are running middle attacking. And for now, I'm giving perfect tosses from zone 6. Setter is already up, is already front row. And we start our middles, mock blocking at the net. And you're going to notice that our middles transition to a spot in the middle of the court. Okay. So from this spot, they can run 1s, 31s, and 6s. And of course slides. What I'm looking for from my setter is to make sure they contact the ball consistently. They have the option of jump setting or staying down. But they have to have the sets consistently in the same spot for the hitters. As we progress through this drill, we will start hitting zones 5 and zone 1 because we're going to assume that there's going to be a blocker in zone 6 straight ahead. And right now I can do a couple of things to slow down the drills. I can wait longer in between, or I can clap faster for their transition. You good, Myra? All right, so to make the drills more game-like, I'm going to have my setters come in from zone 1 because we run a 6-2 offense, and this is going to be very much like what we're doing. So on a clap, my setter is going to transition to the net, and my blocker is going to come off the net and be ready to run again a 1 set. The key here for the setters, I want to make sure they are going to their spot, and at contact, I want the pass to be over their forehead. Okay, so the contact has to be the same. So a middle blocker on the other side can't tell which way she's setting, whether she's back setting a 1 or an outside. Our blocker should not be able to tell which way she's going. Second thing I want to look out for is I'm looking out for my setter transitioning, and at contact she's going to do a left, right, and set the ball. Okay, so ladies, anytime you're ready in about 10 seconds. Okay, so again, we're running our setters out of zone 1. And setter, let's go ahead and both of you go. Okay, that way you're going every other. You're coming from zone 1. Okay, setter's coming from zone 1. Good. And we're doing the same count.
3s?
We're running 1s again. So a tip that I would give my middle hitter is to make sure her middle finger is coming over the top of on top of the ball. If you listen carefully, our hitters do a great job of calling their sets. I want my setters to hear my middles first because she's the player that's coming closest to her. So I want to hear the middles first. I want to hear the right sides calling it next. And finally, I want to hear the outside hitter calling it loud. So again, notice how my setters have good transition skill. Oh, that was it. Okay. You guys have to go ahead and do 31s. Are you good, Myra? Okay, so for the next drill here, we're going to be running 31s off of mock blocking out of the middle. And to make things easier, we're going to have our setter be at the net already. So we are removing the movement from right back to the net. The key for my 31s, I usually want them fast, but we're going to slow it down if we need to, based on the physical condition of the middles, or based on how good their timing is going to the net. So we're running 31s and off of a mock block in the middle. We good? And the key here is you want to make sure our setters are consistent with the speed and location of their set. Very nice. And we also want our middles to have their arm up and they are ready to pull the trigger as the ball is getting in front of them. Nice set, good swing. Okay, ready? And if you notice, our middle hitter is turning to find the ball as it's coming from the back row being passed to our setter. So she turns her head, she chases her ball, and she goes fast. Switch. So we have our hitter looking for the ball. Good, a little bit higher. Good. Good. Making sure our hitter has her arm up, go higher. Okay, faster. Count. So when our hitters are running 31s, it is the hardest set for us to run for our middles and setters. So as a coach, I need to give them a lot of leeway to make errors. I mean, if we're going to make errors, I want them to happen now. Okay, we don't want them to happen at tournaments, but again, in a practice situation, I want to make sure that they are making changes, making improvements to what they're doing. And are you good? Myra, are you good? Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. If you notice, our setters are running our sets, our 31 sets, really, really fast. And one adjustment that we can make is to slow the sets down to allow our hitters to catch up to the ball. So one adjustment we can make is when our middles are jumping a lot, one adjustment we can make is, again, to slow down the tempo of the tosses, and also we can make the setter set the ball a little bit slower, because I can tell that their jump is lessening every time we do these reps. So by the time they hit their 8th rep, they're not jumping as high. So again, as a coach, you can make that adjustment, go slower on the set. So when you go slower on the set, they have to be a little bit higher. And secondly, you can go more seconds in between, or you can wait a little bit longer in between the balls being entered.
Slides?
Here we go. That?
Slides or three still?
Let's go slides. Okay, couple of cues here, running slides. We want to stay away from setting the ball too tight and too low. Okay? That combination is way too hard to make an adjustment. So again, we want to stay away from low and tight sets. A cue that I like giving my middles is I want them to wait and define the pass, and they chase the ball after it's set. So again, they turn around, they find the pass, they wait for the set, and they chase the ball. One more. Okay, so a big tip to give our hitters is to make sure they drive their right knee up, because driving their right knee up elevates them to get off the floor. Usually inexperienced hitters, middle hitters, tend to broad jump, so we want them to drive their right knee up, because that drives up their arm, and hopefully they can swing on top of the ball instead of jumping out. So we're good? Here we go. And slide. Good hit. Nice set. So again, you'll see Myra waiting for the pass. Okay, she finds a pass and she chases her ball. To make this drill much harder, you can have the setters coming in from zone 1. So now you have two different movements, setter from zone 1, and the middle hitter is coming off the net. Okay, we switch? Okay, here we go. You'll notice we are running wider slides. Okay, so she can do exactly what she did just then. Delaying the hit line on a wide slide. Okay, and those are pretty tough to dig. Okay, for a younger team with inexperienced setters and inexperienced players, you can start by setting the ball higher. Okay, and slow. Okay, we good? Okay. Okay, I'm going to give our hitters and setters a little bit of rest here. So again, a couple of tips here. We want to make sure, for me, I want the drills to be game-like. So I'm starting our hitters at the net, mock blocking. We don't need to add another jump. So they're mock blocking, and they transition to the same spot every time. So again, this is my neutral area where I want my middles to go. From there, we can run ones, slides, or 31s. So again, just make sure you watch out for things like that. Present the cues right from the very beginning, and just make adjustments as you run the drill. Thank you.